Hello everyone, welcome back to Soccer Showdown. Archino and Martino Puccio here. The UEFA Champions League is back, so of course we are back with it. Martino, going to start off with, of course, our two first matches that we looked at, pretty much blowouts. Man City takes care of business against Basel, 4-0. Liverpool, a 5-0 thrashing over FC Porto. I think, obviously, both of these clubs in the English Premier League right now are playing very well. Man City's got the Premier League locked up, 16 points over second place Man United. But which club were you more impressed with the way they just came out and dominated it this week?
I think I'm actually going to go with Liverpool. We know City's been dominant all season long. It's not that big of a surprise. Even 4-0 is a great fixture. Don't get me wrong, it's the knockout stages. You love to see something like that. But for Liverpool to win 5-0 in a away fixture against Porto, which is always a tough matchup for teams in the Champions League. We've seen teams in England struggle in recent years. But for them to have a 5-0 lead, they've sold Coutinho to Barcelona, which is a big steep price, and he was their best player. But it doesn't seem like it has affected them in any ways. They're through to the next round. City's through to the next round. And you know what? Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola, I think they've done a fantastic job, not only in the Champions League, but the league as well.
There is a lot of balance on both squads, but of course, we'll go with City right now. Again, 16-point lead over second-place Manchester United. They have just been as dominant as you could be. It seems like even with some of the injuries they've had, guys like Sergio Aguero are just stepping up, doing everything in their power, demolishing the competition. So I'll ask you, Martino, since they have the Premier League basically locked up, and Pep isn't really a guy who's ever going to let them take their foot off the gas pedal, but do you think that helps them really just put everything they have into the Champions League? We're all looking at who has the best chance to win this competition. How confident are you in them now that they have the Premier League basically wrapped up, that they could really possibly win this thing?
I think they've had a great shot ever since in the fall, because you could just see it happening, the results they were getting in the group stage, and that run, that unbeaten streak that they were going on. You could tell they were for real. They have the players, they have the coach, and they've been executing that way. They have the lead in the Premier League, 16 points like you said, which is so unprecedented, especially in recent years because they've been tight races. I think they've done a great job, and they do have the players to get there. And you know what? Pep's been there before, and I think he's going to guide them to the final, possibly.
Well, let's talk about two other clubs which definitely have big ambitions for this competition. That is Juventus and Tottenham Hotspur. Now, obviously, Juve comes out right out the gate, storms to a 2-0 lead. Looks like there's going to be some trouble happening for Tottenham, but then they roar back and they make that one a level. It ends up being 2-2. Martino, Juve, it's been an interesting season for them. You know, they're 1 point behind Napoli in Serie A right now. I think they didn't really have the greatest showing their first matches in the Champions League this season, but they look like they come storming out. Tottenham roars back. How do you see this one playing out in the second leg?
I thought it was a disappointing result for Juve, especially I know they were missing Dybala and other players like that, but to give up 2 away goals, I mean, that's really not something you would want. Buffon didn't look that great, especially on the free kick by Eriksen. I thought that was terrible. And you know what? Talk about the defense, because they were not allowing any goals in the Champions League last year, and I think it's evident now that they're clearly missing Bonucci, because they, like we said, they gave up a couple goals in the group stage last year, but they were giving up a lot this year, especially against Barcelona. And then to have a result like this where it's 2-2 and now Spurs go back home, Spurs have proven that they can win in the Champions League against Italian sides. They've done it against Milan a few years ago, and I think they're primed to do it now, but I mean, it's getting real treacherous waters for Juve for sure.
There's a lot of momentum on Tottenham's side right now for sure, and certainly they're playing very well, whether it's Premier League, and then now you look at this competition. Certainly it's going to be very interesting to see how the second leg plays out. But the next match on our docket is the one everyone was made sure they were in front of their TVs for. It was Valentine's Day, and that might have complicated things for some people, but everyone was watching Real Madrid and PSG. Everyone wanted to see Neymar in his PSG kit playing Ronaldo in Real Madrid. And let's talk about Real Madrid first for a minute. Obviously, they get this big win, 3-1. Everyone is talking about now, can this revitalize them? It's been a tough year. They're 4th place in La Liga right now. No one really expects them to win that and to win their league, but now it seems like they could focus all in on this competition to come back the way that they did with Ronaldo especially, because again, Ronaldo, Everyone's been talking. Has he lost his scoring touch this year? What's going on with Ronaldo? Well, he put the team on his back in that game, and he delivered 2 huge goals, one of them a penalty kick. There's so much to go over in this matchup, Martino. What did you make of it?
I thought that Real Madrid is still Real Madrid at the end of the day. We talked about over in the fall on how Neymar, Kylian Mbappe, all these top-priced targets that they acquired were going to help them advance in the Champions League. But this is a do-or-die matchup for them. If they want to win the Champions League, they got to beat the best, and that's the 2-time defending champions in Real Madrid. But Cristiano Ronaldo bags his 100th Champions League goal with Real Madrid. What else can you say? He's probably up there with Messi as the best Champions League player in history. And that's something that we have to account for. Because at the end of the day, we know Neymar won with Barcelona, but this is his team. This is his job. And for him not to even score, it's a 3-1 result. You like that they got the away goal, but 3 goals is a lot to give up. And we knew what happened last year when they played Barcelona in the return leg and they went back to Barcelona and they got annihilated in one of the greatest comebacks ever. How do we know PSG has not changed their mentality since then? Because as of right now, we see them as notorious chokers. And I don't think that's going to change unless they do that. So this is all up on Neymar. This is all up on Kylian Mbappe, the defense, Marquinhos, and all the money they put in there with Unai Emery. It's make or break right now because Real Madrid looks primed to advance at this point.
Does Neymar get a pass? I mean, obviously, when you give a player like that as much money as he is, I mean, he is making more money than some of us will ever dream of seeing. Does he get a pass? Because, again, we all thought, this is year 1 with Neymar. And next season, it's Champions League or bust. But do you think people give him a little bit more of a pass because it's the first year?
I could understand them giving a pass for the first year, and I also understand giving them a pass because they're going against Real Madrid. These Real Madrid squads are some of the best that have ever graced a football field. So I think when you have a guy like Cristiano Ronaldo, and then there's Asensio and Sergio Ramos and all these other major key figures that play for Real Madrid, it's going to be difficult to knock them off. But, I mean, at the end of the day, when you buy players for massive prices, you expect them to perform at the highest levels. And if they're not doing that, a lot of people aren't going to find the excuses for it.
Now, we've gone over a lot of them. We've still got next week some big clubs who are going to be in action. We've got Barcelona will be playing, Man United been playing. But out of the ones we've discussed today, which one on this list do you think is bound for the final from what you've seen so far?
It's going to be really tough to choose between City and Real Madrid because Real Madrid has that championship pedigree, but at the same time, I just love the way City's been playing from league to cups and to the Champions League. You can't say the same for Real Madrid, and I just think right now the way City has been playing together as a team all season long and the talent that they have, I would pick them out of all the sides that have played this week.
I'd probably have to go with them as well. I think, look, last season they were missing the goaltending. They were missing a lot on the defensive side. Just seemed like it's all meshing together so well, but I don't think either of us are sleeping on Real Madrid right now. They've won the last 2 competitions. They've hoisted the trophy at the end of the day the last 2 times. That's very hard to bet against, but as of right now, Man City, Real Madrid, Liverpool, some big winners from these last few matches. That is all we have for you on this episode of Soccer Showdown. He's Martino Puccio, and I'm Joe Archino. We'll see everybody in the next episode.